And you might notice that orange is the official colour of Harmony Day. So we've got the orange match ball. I think the coaches, umpires, support staff all wearing Harmony Day ribbons as well. So everything is set here. Final match for round 4. It is the pre-season championship favourites against the brash, bold upstarts from the West. Hadn't won on the road in 2 years, came out in round 1 up in Brisbane against the Firebirds, made a big statement, and this is just their second match on the road for season 2015.
Matchup I'm really looking forward tonight is the starting Diamonds goal defence, Julie Corletto, against the starting Diamonds goal attack, Nat Medhurst. The winner of that clash could well determine this game.
Paige Hadley in that starting centre position. They've moved the skipper, Kim Green, in wing attack, and they start with possession.
Barney's wing defence obstruction.
Here's Pettit looping that one over the top to Caitlin Thwaites. And she opens proceedings here in Sydney. Caitlin Thwaites has had a long week, Liz. 3 from 5 in the last quarter last week in that thriller against the Firebirds. And she had the opportunity for the match winner and couldn't. It was a tough shot, but couldn't quite get it.
And I reckon she would have been looking forward to just hitting the first goal tonight, just to get that out of her memory.
It's a great article on her, I think it was in the press today, where she quoted Michael Jordan. She's read a bit of Michael Jordan this week, and the famous quote, 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over again in life, and that's why I succeed.
If you're going to take inspiration, it's a pretty good place to take it from.
Good way to respond, though, isn't it?
It is, and look, she would love to just be able to respond by simply shooting more goals for her team tonight, and she started well.
To make it 2 from 2, she knocks it down.
I reckon she'll like being up against Josie Jantz simply because she's got a little bit on her in terms of height. She'll get a much better vision of the ball coming down the court than she got last week against Laura Geitz.
Why have they gone with that start, do you think? Jantz Dawson instead of their New Zealand import McCarty?
Look, I just think Jantz Dawson probably is a little more mobile, so they will be asking her to make sure she repositions to get Caitlin Thwaites on the move. And I reckon, though, her instructions would have been beautiful work, Ash Brazel, in that wing defence position. I reckon they would have asked Jantz Dawson simply to contest everything. Don't let Thwaites take an easy ball. Nice steady play down the court from the Fever. They look this year like a team who simply can't be rattled.
And Bassett can't be rattled after a rare miss early. She was able to mop up. It was the captain that picked off that turnover at one end, and they were able to convert. So the visitors take a 1-goal lead here. Chance to make it 2. Moving the ball quickly. It's just too easy from Medhurst. To Bassett, that's unorthodox.
I see that very often. I think Caitlin Bassett stepped in before she realised what she'd done. I used to see my mum shoot that shot in C grade.
Good evening to Margaret if she's watching. Thwaites is going to step in. Now this will be a huge confidence boost. From long range, she buries it. Leighton sending an early message to Bassett.
Well, she has to have a go at those. You don't often get Caitlin Bassett making a lead to the ball, so you have to make sure that you contest it.
And that's a good way to respond. That was sort of long range for Bassett, wasn't it?
Yeah, you don't often see her go to the post from that range, simply because she doesn't have to.
Swift skirting the perimeter from side to side. In the end, it comes into Pettit.
Good defensive change up there for the Fever. They swap really well, but the Swifts were up to it. And no surprise that when the Swifts get in trouble, it really is that combination between Pettit and Green that they go to. Contact call on Caitlin Bassett. Just backing back into Shani Leighton, and Leighton did a good job. Didn't retaliate, just stood her ground, showed the umpire what was happening.
you're causing.
What about that matchup, Liz? Kim Green against the two captains, really, against Brazel.
Goal defender,
It's
contact.
going to be a good one. And, you know, Ash Brazel, former Swift, so again, she's here up against her old teammates. And what you see in that particular matchup is two fairly fiery personalities, but two really great athletes, both incredibly explosive.
On cue, speak about explosive. Brazel, great closing speed. That's 2 turnovers she's been able to pick off in less than 5 minutes here, and she's setting the tone for the Fever. McCulloch, 1-2 grabs at it.
Amy McCulloch was really good for the Swifts last week when she came on. Oh, Kim Green's...
Yeah, it's clash of heads. A clash of heads between Green and Brazel, and Kim Green's in a bit of trouble.
Yep.
Teammates just coming over to check that she's okay.
It's funny, you don't often see that. You get taught that when a teammate goes down, you just walk away, gather in, and the medical staff will get there. So clearly Julie Corletto a bit concerned by what she saw.
So the medical staff out to Kim Green, the captain there. It was the clash of heads. Kim Green, just the left temple area to Brazel's right temple.
Oh.
Ouch. So just to break in play as Kim Green gets a little bit of treatment courtside, and a reminder that don't forget, if you haven't downloaded the new Netball Live app, you are missing out. The app has everything you need to know about the ANZ Champs, live scores, there's news, there's even full match replays. So it's all there thanks to Telstra, and it's free to download from the App Store and Google Play. Ash Brazel and Kim Green, two of the hard, tough nuts, aren't they?
They are very tough nuts. You saw that neither of them wanted to call time. They smacked each other in the head and, no, I don't want to be the first to call time. And eventually it was the umpires who did that. So it's been a really nice, neat start to this game. Last week, West Coast Fever on the stat sheet only had 6 turnovers, which is extraordinary for the full game. And both teams have started in a really neat fashion, treasuring possession. There's been some nice, neat intercepts.
And great little touch of sportsmanship here, Liz, because the two captains went up to each other and just, are you okay? A nod.
Centre
Let's continue this fiery little matchup. One of the interesting subplots of the 7 matchups that we're watching out here at the moment. Perfect placement and timing from Pettit into Thwaites.
Vantage break, goal attack.
Oh, beautiful delivery then from Nat Medhurst. Just a really nice high release. Makes it hard for the defenders to have a go at. But it's Caitlin Bassett doing all the shooting for Fever at the moment.
She's never scored 3 half centuries in a row. And the last 2 outings, been able to score 50 last week and 51 the week before.
Sitting on 6 from 7 at the moment. Nat Medhurst hasn't scored a goal yet, but she's been so instrumental in everything. She's had 2 goal assists, just beautiful delivery into Bassett. You can see when she's on song, her timing's so good. She just owned the middle corridor of the court then, which made the feed into Bassett that much easier.
Is that a bit of the changing nature of the modern game, Liz? When you played, would you ever see a goal attack with, 10, averaging sort of 10 goals a game?
Oh, occasionally it happened. It happened a little bit with the Silver Ferns when Irene Van Dyke came into that line. Players like Belinda Colling, who had played with Van Dyke and also with Donna Hagen, really dropped the amount of shots that they were putting up because there was a dominant goal shooter. But we see it more now with the taller goal shooters.
She's just become a third feeder in a sense, and it's working for them. So Brazel with another turnover, able to pounce on that loose ball. Bassett rolls it in. And that's goal number 9 already. So they are really starting to mount for Caitlin Bassett.
Just a little break here for Fever. Swifts will know it, and they'll know they have to respond when they get possession next.
To make it the perfect 10 in a half of netball. That is extraordinary stuff from Caitlin Bassett.
Really impressive defensive effort from the Fever just across the middle third. The Swifts have struggled on their second phase play at the centre pass. Not so much then. That was a beautiful ball.
It was bullet-like, wasn't it? Rifled into Susan Pettit, who's celebrating a birthday today.
She is.
31. Celebrated the 100-game milestone last week with a draw. I wonder what she'll celebrate the birthday with.
I think she'd be happy with 4 quarters like her last one. She was extraordinary in that last quarter, 12 from 14.
Yeah, it was her and Green that really carried them to the finish line.
Vantage centre obstruction. Goal defender obstruction. Intimidation. Both out.
So Caitlin Thwaites makes it a 3-goal game. 6 minutes left in this first quarter. The Fever with the early running. 1 out, 1-on-1. Bassett. Leighton does well to push her wide, but Bassett's going to back herself. Second miss for the quarter. Now the double team on Bassett. She is simply unstoppable at the moment. Although that's a rare miss, and that's a good pickup from the Swifts.
And that's what the Swifts have to capitalise on. Not going to get the ball back very often in this match. It was a good fight then from Corletto.
Goal defender. With the defender.
Susan Pettit steps in.
Contact.
It's a tough call.
Out of play, goal defender.
Yeah, it was really well timed at the shot from Josie Jance-Dawson. She's doing a good job down there, Jance.
Yeah, the defenders have started really well, haven't they? Here's Green on the circle edge, finding a little bit of space. A little give in to Thwaites. Fakes, scores. Suddenly a 4-goal lead is back to 1. Just have the ability this side to move the ball so quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it's 1-on-1 under the post with Big Bassett, who is hard to stop.
She is, and you just saw then she's got now this great ability. She doesn't have to take the high ball. Watts just fired in a nice hard pass at her. Oh, I reckon that was a step then. Susan Pettit might have thought so too. It just took her mind off the shot.
And unlucky by April Letton. The big toe was on the line. Oh, well done by Thwaites. Found some back space on Jance-Dawson.
Good pass there too from Kim Green. Just saw that Jance-Dawson's eyes were down. Took the opportunity just to get one over the top of her. Fever, they can throw the ball anywhere.
Luck's of fortune, I think. Natalie Medhurst just blinked after she threw that ball. Don't even need to look for this Fever team at the moment. Just throw it long and know that Bassett will pick it up. Swifts try that. They can't pull it off. Might only be 2 goals in this, but the Swifts certainly haven't got their timing and their rhythm right as they move forward at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. It just feels like Fever are getting to the circle much easier than the Swifts. The Swifts are labouring a little bit as they get down there. Here's Nat Medhurst. First shot of the quarter.
So Bassett scored the first 13 goals for the Fever.
With a little look away pass then from Medhurst. And all the tricks.
Four goals in it now, the Fever with another little break here. Final 3 minutes of this quarter. Thwaites with a long drive, and now she's a long way from home. Does some hard work, sets a screen.
Obstruction centre.
Gave Pettit a bit of space, but didn't come in. Instead, it goes to Thwaites now, and this should be reward for effort because she really got on her bike out under the post.
Vantage break, goal attack.
Fever looking to make it 4 goals. Watts. Bassett.
Bassett's doing a good job, and I'll tell you why. She's making it hard for Leighton to set up on her, so Leighton will know that she's got to move around and get on the move and try and get Bassett on the move, but Caitlin Bassett's almost preempting her and getting on the move first. So when you watch them, they're running, doing little circles within the circle. And Leighton just isn't quite comfortable yet.
So the Swifts are hanging tough here.
Bunnings break, we attack.
It's a little loose from Brazel. Corletto on Medhurst. As I mentioned earlier, it's the starting goal defender for the Australian team in the starting goal attack. Plenty of elbows and body work between those two happening at the moment. 16 goals, 17 goals in a quarter. No, 16 rather, for Caitlin Bassett.
Swift.
Too much on it then from Pettit. The Swifts have done that a few times, just tried to force the ball. And Fever have been all over it. Nat Medhurst saying about time. It's been a fairly willing contest between Medhurst and Corletto.
Yeah, and Leighton and Bassett, and it's not 15 minutes of netball that Shani Leighton has particularly enjoyed, but as you can see, the vibe is up. That's the type of player she is. Ooh. Standing her ground, solid. And they've broken out to a 6-goal lead here, the Fever.
Bunnings contact.
Forced to shoot from a fairway out. She's been good. And she's been able to get the ball in her hands. That's 8 from 8 for Caitlin Thwaites. Quarter time here in Sydney, but it's been the West Coast Fever. The first 15 minutes belong to them. 19-14. They take a 5-goal lead into quarter time here at Sydney Olympic Park.
This is the greatest game of their lives.
That's good by 6. Kate Williamson has won it for New Zealand. What a day out at Eden Park.
And it's back to Auckland we go for an epic semi-final that's simply unmissable.
It's the 52-ball 100 for AB de Villiers.
New Zealand, South Africa, live tomorrow, Sky Sport 3. Proudly sponsored by ANZ, the official bank partner.
When Peter had his accident, everything just became quite chaotic. We've got people with significant disabilities. The children don't have a normal kind of life. The ANZ Netball Grant has given them the opportunity just to get down to the courts. It is about community spirit. It's not just about the sport. It's about having well-rounded children that can go out into the world and cope with what life throws at them.
You'll always find great value on Burger King's Change Range. For a very limited time, get 6 crispy tempura chicken nuggets made with delicious 100% chicken breast. All for just $3. They're nuggets made the way they're meant to be.
Close your eyes,
Through the midcourt, because when the ball comes down at speed, there's not much you can do at goalkeeper and goal defence about it.
So Caitlin Bassett, I mean, this is mind-boggling good. 18 goals in 15 minutes of netball. She's outscored the entire Swifts team, which scored 14. Her PB, just had a look through the record books, is 61 from a couple of years ago against the Mystics. She is on track.
She'll hit that the three-quarter times.
To smash that. And the highest ever is for Fowler Reid, of course, the giant Jamaican shooter who twice has scored 65 goals. So let's keep an eye on this tonight. 61 is Bassett's record. The all-time record is Fowler Reid with 65.
Well, Nat Medhurst seems in on it. Oh, a little win there for Shani Leighton. didn't quite come up with the ball. And for the Swifts, if they're going to eat into this 6-goal margin, they've got to start to win those little ones. They've got to start to win the loose balls.
Contact, advantage offside. Contact, goalkeeper. With the keeper.
Look away pass into Medhurst for just her second. They're rare, but she takes them when she can. This is suddenly becoming a very one-sided contest. The West Coast Fever have been utterly dominant.
They have, but we've seen with this Swifts lineup that, you know, they're capable of eating into a fairly large margin within 15 minutes, but it's almost like someone needs to spark that. Last week it was taking Kim Green off that saw them get into a hole and bringing her back on that saw them get out of that hole. You don't want to have to do that. You don't want to have to drag a player and give her 15 minutes, especially a vital player like Kim Green, and then say to her, okay, come out and find the connections and win the game. But someone does need to step up and just give them a bit of a spark, and I reckon it's going to come from the defensive end.
Are there any Swifts players out there at the moment that are actually winning their position, Liz? I mean, this seems like it could unravel very quickly. Medhurst into Bassett again, and it is just all too easy at the moment for the visitors.
Yeah, you could argue that Julie Corletto's, you know, having a really good battle with Nat Medhurst, but simply because the stats say that Nat Medhurst has only scored 1 goal, yet she's just been so instrumental in setting up play and getting the ball into Caitlin Bassett.
Contact, goal shooter.
So here's a little victory here for Shani Layton as we go courtside. Megan Barnard. Megan.
Yeah, Cal, just the one change for the Swifts in this quarter. We've got Abby McCulloch off and Jade Clark comes on at wing defence. No changes for the Fever.
Thanks, Megan.
No surprises, no changes for the Fever. Interesting that that is just the one change made with Jade Clark coming on. I thought Abby McCulloch had a pretty good start, picked up some nice ball at wing defence for the Swifts. But clearly they feel that Ko Watts just needs to be contained that little bit more.
So nothing is coming easy for the home side at the moment.
Oh, almost a win, but again, it's just one of those nights at the moment for the Swifts where things are falling the way of Fever. Here's a little win.
Layton trying to spark something from down back.
And the really hard thing to do when they're in this situation is the Fever are defending well, and they haven't won a lot of balls, so it's tempting to get a rush of blood to the head and just get rid of the ball down the court. You've got to take a deep breath, really work it down, weather the defence.
Gee, it's hard work, side to side, zigzagging. Corridor is not open. There's not too much space out there at all. Little 1-2, that's better. Hadley and Pettit. And for everything that's going wrong, there's still just only 5 goals down now. So it's a slow climb up the mountain. Waits converts. 12 from 13 for her. Pettit with the 6 from 7.
Better defensive intensity from the Swifts, and they've, so close to coming up with possession. They just did a really good job there of bottling that Fever progression down the court up. Took them a little while to get there, almost came up with possession.
Body language has been good by Shani. She's had a tough night. Loose ball, Letton pounces, and now they're away.
That sort of play by Susan Pettit is, I guess, the sort of thing that happens when you're under defensive pressure. You get the ball and you want to get rid of it very quickly. It's unusual for her to turn over possession like that.
Contact, goal defender.
Sometimes you'll take a risk if you think it'll get it through that little bit easier.
Advantage obstruction, wing defender.
Corletto's just stepped up the tempo as well a little bit, going for a few more balls.
Well, she has to. It's one thing to keep Nat Medhurst scoreless, but you've got to actually stop her getting the ball and getting it to Bassett. You know, if you keep your goal attack, one of the best goal attacks in the game, to 2 goals at this point of the game, you think you're doing well, but just doesn't allow for the fact that Nat Medhurst is just doing so much out the front.
At what point do the Swifts defenders come together and go, right, let's just double team Bassett. Let's just play 2-on-1 and give Natalie Medhurst all the space she wants.
Yeah, look, I don't know that you can do that and give Nat Medhurst a heap of space. It was interesting last week when the Swifts were playing against the Firebirds. Shani Layton just wanted that one-on-one battle with Romelda Aiken. She may want it now. But I reckon at some point they've got to change up what they're doing and maybe move away from that one-on-one style of defence and go into a zone style of defence. They've got to get Fever thinking about what they're doing. And at the moment, Fever are doing it too easy. They're not having to think.
Bunnings break, wing defender. Wing defence contact.
Contact call on the English import, Jade Clark, captain of England. First quarter on the bench.
That was unlucky for Layton. It's a real test of character when you're playing goalkeeper against someone like Caitlin Bassett. The ball's going to go over your head most of the game, but you've got to keep yourself in it, as Layton is doing, and try and get the ones that fall short. Get the passes that aren't perfect.
And really, she's the... oh, look at that pass. Great vision from Kim Green. A 1-2 between the two foundation players. And it's just a little bit of magic, maybe. It might spark this home side because they have looked flat here tonight.
That's probably the most space that Pettit's had all evening. Layton's done a really good job on it. But it just goes to show what she can do with Kim Green when she's given a little bit of space.
Layton trying to play in front. It sits up. A crucial little tip.
Contact centre.
She is the heart and soul of this club, the Swifts. Vibrant, energetic person, always up and bubbly.
You can see her. She's got plenty to say after goals are scored, talking constantly to Corletto. And their partnership really is in its infancy at this club. Corletto new to the Swifts this year.
Thwaites just playing body on body. Caitlin Thwaites goes all the way to the post.
I like it when she steps in and goes to the post and doesn't balk. You know, last week, that shot that she missed, there was a balk involved. It's almost like it puts a rhythm off. That looked good then. That looked like that was always going to go in.
Sweet shooting from Thwaites, 13 from 14.
Bunnings contact, wing defender.
Here's Brown on the circle edge. And that is just a...
Oh, Caitlin Bassett didn't have to jump. She'd done so much work, she ran out of puff. That was a long run for her, but it just goes to show what she's done with her game. You know, she's changed it up. She's not just a tall shooter who's prepared to hold.
She has burst out of the block so far this season. 44, 51, 50. We're not even at half-time here, and she's got 26.
Sneaky little pass. No one saw that coming.
Bounce pass. To Medhurst with the right smile. She enjoyed it. She said, it's about time you gave me something.
Yeah. Caitlin Bassett's like, wow, it's a long way down to throw a bounce pass, isn't it?
Contact, goal defence.
So Fever lead it by 8. There's a tick over 5 minutes to go before the main break here, and Medhurst goes back to back.
Swifts.
She's making a pig of herself now, 2 in a row.
Hogging it, isn't she? Oh. Biggest lead of the match now. 9 goals. Just a reminder, in the last quarter here last week, Swifts were down by 8 with 8 minutes to go against the Firebirds, and they managed to eke out a draw. Good rebound. That's an important rebound by Caitlin Thwaites. So closing in on half-time, Liz. Rob Wright at the main break. His message and what does he look at his bench? Has he got options?
I don't know that he's got a huge amount of options defensively as Layton just about comes up with the ball. you know, this Serpa defensive line that he's got is two really talented players, both diamonds, both very experienced internationals. He's got to stick with them. I don't think you want to go change the defensive line, but you want to go telling them they've got to change what they're doing. They've got to mix it up. They've got to get the Fever front line thinking.
So not a change of personnel, just a change of tactics.
Potentially, I'd also think about maybe switching up Hadley and Green,
It's offside, goal
simply
attack.
because Kim Green is a really defensive player. Hadley,
Goal third.
not a defensive centre, and it's just being exposed a little bit in that regard at the moment.
Barney's contact, goal attack. Contact, goal shooter.
There's a win for Leighton. Crucial moment here for the Swifts. They must score.
Contact, goal defence. It's moving, goal defence.
Two misses. Well, Luzella said it was crucial that they scored, and they didn't, and the rebound comes to the Fever. This could be a savage blow if the Fever's able to score here, and Bassett instead throws it away. She throws her arms up in the air in disgust.
And these are the opportunities that the Swifts must take. Fever aren't coughing up a lot of ball. You've got to score off it when you get that turnover.
Centre third, centre third.
Still plenty of time here for the Swifts.
Barney's moving, centre.
Fever led by 5 at quarter time. The biggest margin has been 9. And they trim the margin again.
Barney's break, win attack.
Kim Green getting a little frustrated. Lack of options out there. That's better. Green to Pettit on the baseline. And she loops it in. Trademark New South Wales Swifts.
Barney's break, wing defender.
Can they get a
Barney's home
turnover?
centre.
Off the boards, a risky pass, and then they move it so quickly into Bassett.
Swifts.
And she scores before Leighton even spins around and sees the ball go through the hoop.
Talking about changes, it'll be interesting to see if we get the change that we've seen from the Fever all the way through this competition so far. The first 3 rounds at half-time, Fever have moved Brazel into wing defence. Sorry, Brazel from wing defence into centre. Beautiful play then.
Great balance by Caitlin Thwaites to Green. Must score now. Thwaites pops out. Thwaites turns round. Thwaites scores. Well done, Caitlin Thwaites.
Barney's break, wing
And the switch
defender.
between Brazel and Brown is the two that we've seen. Leighton goes hunting. She misses it, but it's enough. Corletto, the bench is up. These are the moments that change the game.
To make the Fever pay. Thwaites to Green, to Pettit. To drag them back into this contest.
It's their centre pass.
Well, half-time's been called here. No, timeout.
Timeout,
Because
it
there's
was-
still 58 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, Brazel called the timeout. Went straight over to the umpire.
So we don't see this too often. This is a tactical timeout with less than a minute left on the clock before half-time, with the Swifts' tails up.
So there's a defensive win. That's where the Swifts have really managed to bounce back from. You get a few crucial turnovers like that, and the Swifts have suddenly come to light, and they've got this magnificent Sydney crowd behind them.
So we're about to find out what both these sides can deliver in the final minute before half-time. The current round of the ANZ Championship coincides with Harmony Day, celebrating cultural diversity and a sense of belonging for everyone. And Netball Australia, in partnership with the Australian Sports Foundation, has established the Netball Foundation to raise money to help women and girls achieve their full potential. You're encouraged to donate $5 to the Netball Foundation. You can text the word netball to the number that was just on your screen. Here we go, final minute before half-time. Surely the Swifts haven't got another stirring comeback in their back pocket after what we saw last week. Thwaites has a go. And she likes what she sees.
Wing defender, contact. Advantage obstruction, goal attack.
Fever just screaming for this halftime whistle. They are tiring in these final few moments. Medhurst to Bassett.
Swifts.
And the Bassett juggernaut rolls on. She's up to 29 goals in a half of netball. Extraordinary stuff. There's still time here for the Swifts to score. Who do they go to, Liz?
Green and Pettit are the go-to girls. And you can see them both moving around and looking.
So hold time, 3 seconds left. Time might beat them. What a fascinating final few minutes to this half of netball. Green knows that. She moves it quickly into Thwaite. She's got to put it up, a little fadeaway jumper. But it was.
For the rest of the game, she did suffer a concussion in that head knock with Ash Brazel. That was in the first quarter. So, look, she is off. She's not well, according to the coach, Rob Wright. We'll chat to him shortly and get more details.
Well, that's a huge blow for the home side, Liz. No captain out there.
Yeah, that's a massive blow for the Swifts. Kim Green is really the go-to player for them. When she's intense and when she's lifted up, then the team does the same. And she's had flashes of that, especially in that second quarter. Her and Susan Pettit really started to find some nice space, but you just can't leave a player on who's suffered concussion.
And it was a nasty head clash, wasn't it, with Ash Brazel? Brazel, it was more that she was grabbing at the jaw at certain times and had that looked at, but appears to be okay. So what sort of effect will it have? Jade Clark, quick hands into Thwaites.
This is a real test of character for the Swifts, Kel. You know, you have a player like Kim Green on the court, and it's almost tempting for some of the players around her just to step back and let her run the show, let her up the intensity, let her do the job and take the game by the scruff of the neck, because that's what she's capable of. Now somebody else has to do it. Susan Pettit's the obvious one, but she needs some help, and she needs it from the mid-court.
Advantage contact, goal attack.
Here's Pettit. Great speed on Latin.
Good change up there for the Swifts too. Thwaites came out of the circle, which left Pettit in a one-on-one with Letton. I reckon they're going to do that a bit more. That really does free Pettit up, gives her the baseline that she loves.
Well, let's head into the Swifts camp now and find out exactly how Kim Green is, because Megan Barnard is with their coach, Rob Wright.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Rob, we're concerned about Kim Green. How is she?
Yeah, look, she that head clash in the first quarter, yeah, so she's got a concussion, so she's not very good. So unfortunately, it's a shame, because I thought she was actually playing beautifully. So yeah, but yeah, we just thought no, we weren't going to risk leaving her out there. Doc had a look at her, and we're definitely going to go with the Doc's thoughts. So yeah, she's done for the night.
You spoke to her obviously at halftime. What did she say to you?
Oh, look, she was feeling like she wasn't in a great place, but we just thought, yeah, so we thought the Doc needed to have a look at her, and yeah, just too risky, too important for us. So yeah, but it means that, you know, we get to look at other things and see how it goes.
Just finally, what was the message to the girls at halftime?
Oh, look, I thought we weren't very disciplined. You know, we just need to try and get off the body a little bit. You know, when too many options, I think, if they just can play around. So, yeah, just a bit toe tight. I thought both my defenders, yeah, just a bit on the body. And, you know, they're both good athletes who, when they can have a go at the ball, they're good. So that we want to do. And we just got to continue letting the ball go and having some really good connection. When we let the ball go, I think we look really good.
All the best, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Goal defender.
Interesting comments there, Kel, from Rob. Totally agree with his observation about his defensive plays. You've got Coletta and Leighton. They're both magnificent athletes, yet they're both playing a really tight one-on-one style of game. I don't know that he's asked for them to come off and play a split circle or anything like that, but if they give themselves a few steps off the body, it actually allows them to have a go at the ball and not bring the umpires into it. And while he was talking, we saw Shani Leighton do just that.
So when he says come off the body, does he mean for Shani Leighton to come out hunting, to take a few risks, try and pick off a few intercepts a la Laura Gotts?
Oh, no, of course you'd like for her to be able to do that, but it just means being a step and a half away from Bassett, and it means that the feeders aren't quite sure where Bassett's space is, where does she want the ball. But it also means when the ball goes up in the air, you're not caught up under her elbow or under her shoulder, and you can have a run at the intercept. That's hard to do, though. You've sort of got to trust that it's going to happen. It's a far more comfortable space to be, just to make sure you're right on the body.
Watts in the pocket to Medhurst, the look-away pass, Bassett. Corletto hits the ground, and Bassett capitalises. And talk about leadership and who's going to step up for the Swifts. Obviously, Kim Green, the captain, is off. And their two vice-captains are Leighton and McCulloch, and they're both out there at the moment.
And don't forget Jade Clark, the English captain. Now, she's in playing at centre for them, so she also has the ability to step up and lead. She's new to this club, but she knows how to do it. So she's going to have to prove that she is also a good leader in this regard, especially considering that she has replaced Kim Green 1-for-1.
And there is Jade Clark, teaming up with McCulloch.
Where you are.
God, Jance.
Too athletic. Straight down to Letton, and they're away. Medhurst just happy to hold this one up. Oh, Leighton. It's better competing.
A little switch up there between Leighton and Corletto.
Gee, this is hard work out there. Lots of close-ups, and players are sucking in the oxygen. Sweat pouring from their faces. Bassett on the baseline. That's risky for Bassett, and it means that Corletto can swoop on the loose ball.
Centre hold.
It's great defensive intensity by the Fever we've seen all night. They just haven't let up.
Beautiful take there from Thwaites. Didn't have a lot of space to work with.
That's what she does best, isn't it? She's that holding shooter.
Yeah, and that's what the Fever have tried to stop happening tonight. They don't want her to get comfortable.
So Fever lead it by 6. Let's find out how the coach is feeling. Stacey Rosman standing by with Megan.
Stacey, I'm sure you're surprised to see that there's no Kim Green out there at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's obviously really physical and highly contested out in the mid-court, so I'm not surprised that there'll be changes amongst. They've got plenty of depth, so yeah, having their fresh legs changing. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes in the 4th, though.
She's actually got a mild concussion, I'll let you know, so that head knock with Ash Brazel was pretty serious in that first quarter.
Yeah, I think the girls are going, they're going for it, going forth and back at the moment, but you know, it's highly contested out there. There's some great play and great, you know, contest to the ball. So, yeah, it's going well.
I saw your shooter and your captain having a chat to the umpires at half-time. Do you know what that was about?
Oh, we just want to have a look at what's happening off the ball more than what's happening in the direct play. It's just, you know, it is getting a little bit physical out there, but, you know, it's a highly contested netball and it's great to watch.
You guys in a good position, so best of luck for the rest of the game.
Thanks.
So Stacey Rosman just confirming that Bassett and the captain Brazel spoke to the umpires at half-time. Not sure if they've got too much to whinge and complain about, Liz. I mean, they're winning the game. They've been pretty much winning from start to where we are now. And Bassett has just dominated Leighton, and she's obviously up to the 18 goals.
Yeah, look, I don't know that every time you go to the umpires it's a whinge and complain. Sometimes it can be just to clarify something. Potentially they feel that something's not being seen. Interesting to hear Rosman say there's plenty going on off the ball, especially given that we heard Brazel say earlier that they knew coming up against the Swifts there'd be some contests going on off the ball. So Fever have come in with that mindset. Sometimes that's a good thing because you're prepared for it, but sometimes it can blow up a little bit if you're almost scared of it, if you're worried about it. So just watching Fever now, you know, the key for them will be to make sure they keep taking on that contest.
All alone under the post is dangerous. Pettit will never miss those. They are hanging tough here at the moment. That margin still hovering around 5 goals.
Bassett just coming off the hold then. That's a little win for Leighton, even though Leighton's given away the penalty. Just getting Bassett on the move.
Thwaites a long way from the post. Well done by Brazel, rather. She's a much improved player this year, Liz.
She is, and it's the first time in a long time that she's had a season and a pre-season that's been free from injury, and you can see the result. I really am intrigued by the switch that happens every game between Brazel and Brown in that centre wing defence position for the Fever, and I think Brazel tonight's probably the best I've seen her play in that wing defence position. She was getting a hand to the ball early. In the last few rounds, I've felt like she's been a bit cooped up and then gets to centre and really enjoys the space. But tonight she's done well at both positions.
So Natalie Medhurst now up to 6 goals. There's Lisa Alexander, the Australian Diamonds coach, watching on.
Alongside Anne Sargent, who is an Australian selector. So there is talent all over the court to look at. Plenty of diamonds on offer.
Well, we're seeing out here at the moment the two current preferred Australian diamond shooters in Bassett at one end and Caitlin Thwaites at the other.
We are, but we're also seeing some players who might be outsiders for this Diamonds lineup for the World Cup. If you look at Fever, they are having an incredibly impressive season. It's a mid-court that has been the real improver for them. You'd have to say that Brown and Brazel would have to come into consideration through that mid-court. Oh, Clark. Great leadership, great contest for the ball. Paige Hadley, another young player who has tasted some court time with the Diamonds. Would love to stake her claim as well.
Yeah, played the 2 games for Australia before she tore her anterior cruciate ligament last year. Prattley, this is a big attempt, and it rolls out, and it goes the way of the Fever, and they're away on the transition. Letton, Brazel, such impressive ball movement. And then rolling the ball off the boards into Bassett. That is end-to-end stuff by the West Coast Fever. Watts again. This time Leighton just swats it away. Really makes Caitlin Bassett feel at that time.
This Sydney crowd love Shani Leighton. They love her passion, they love her energy, and they love it when she gets the ball.
Well, she's a great symbol of what this game's all about, isn't she?
I don't know that Caitlin Bassett would agree with you on that at the moment.
Corletto, no.
Really important for Caitlin Bassett that she weathers this storm. She,
and it was a contact call against Bassett, and this is fiery. It's getting pretty willing between those two players.
It is getting willing. Bassett's got a smile on her face, but I don't think it's one of happiness.
And they're Australian teammates. Header up the other end just really makes Fever feel that one. And a timeout.
Centre.
So a timeout called by the captain of the visitors, the West Coast Fever, Ash Brazel. She looks like she might be a little bit sore as well. She's feeling every bone in her body at the moment, Liz. The head clash, which saw Kim Green suffer concussion and go to the bench. And now she's getting some treatment just around her midriff.
Just a really important period coming up here for Caitlin Bassett. Her and Shani Leighton have been involved in a little bit of push and shove, and Bassett in the past has gone to water a little bit when she's been in those situations, but in the last 12 to 18 months we've seen her really grow and develop as a player and be able to cop that. She has to do that now.
Just a reminder, the ANZ Netball Nation Grants program is now open. The grants offer all members of the Australian netball community a chance to win up to $100,000 worth of equipment and VIP experiences, such an exclusive coaching lesson with the lady we just saw on camera a few moments ago, the Australian Diamonds coach, Lisa Alexander. So the Swifts would still have a bit of belief here, Liz. I know that they haven't hit the front for a while. Fever had the lead at quarter time, but there is that clash.
That's a tough call, you know. These two have been at it all night, but I think the fact that Caitlin Bassett raised the elbow is what got Shani Leighton the penalty. And that's probably what Rod Wright is asking for. Keep moving, stay off the player, make her go looking for you. So a little bit of push and shove. They're both going to come away from tonight with bruises.
Yeah, and just a real look of intensity on the face of Shani Leighton out there at the moment.
Changes for the Swifts. Steph Wood on at wing attack. She's had a first appearance for the Swifts in New Zealand, came on at goal attack and did a really good job.
That is a really good ball. Looping into Pettit. A good start for the youngster, the 23-year-old from Queensland, as this said, debuted in round 2 in that goal attack position, 7 from 10. What a way to be introduced for your second game in the ANZ Champs.
A little bit of an opening here now for the Swifts. I've said it all night. They've got to score off these little opportunities and half opportunities that they get. So, you know, Fever haven't coughed up a lot of possession. You've got to score when they get it.
No, really treasuring possession at the moment.
Goal attack obstruction.
Oh, well done. Great play by Jade Clark. Independent, it falls short. Who gets the all-important rebound? Oh, that's good hustle. Good hustle by Caitlin Thwaites. And they draw within 4. Don't tell me we're going to see an instant replay of what happened last week. The Firebirds led by 8 in the last quarter. And the Swifts were able to get it out back to a draw. Here's Wood again. Well, what 2 pivotal possessions in her first 2 attempts out on court.
And 2 really gutsy passes going over the top of defenders to find Pettit on the baseline. Big plays.
As Ellis mentioned a few moments ago, if you get under Bassett's skin, she can get a little shaky.
Collier is on at wing attack for Fever.
Here comes Shani. Back to Wood. Steady head by the youngster. Into Thwaites. What a pass. Split the defenders. It falls short. Wood's there to mop up.
Oh, Jance read it beautifully. Haven't seen a lot of her at goalkeeper, but she's been good tonight.
Here's Collier. So a couple of youngsters injected into the action.
I reckon it's a good move putting Collier on. Watts was tiring, just starting to take really sort of back leads.
Medhurst for the most important shot of the match so far for her. It's a Swifts ball. Can they make it a 3-goal game at 3/4 time? Thwaites, 1 out, 2 strong. Out muscles Jance and she scores. And since that time out, it's been all Swifts. Just 3 goals in it. 1 second left on the clock. Can the West Coast Fever hold on? Previous years, they would have crumbled. We saw them hold their nerve against the Firebirds in Brisbane in round 1. They're about to be tested once again. And that is a beautiful passage of play to open the last quarter.
Big start there too from Bassett on the move. So clearly she's changed the way she's playing. She's trying to take Leighton out of the game and trying to get away from her in terms of that physical style of contest.
Here's Wood with a bit of space on the edge of the circle. Into Pettit, celebrating her 31st birthday today. She was big last week in the final quarter, Susan Pettit. Can she repeat those heroics?
Advantage contact, wing attack.
Oh, Leighton. Leighton's got the bench up. Shani Leighton's trying to inspire.
Going Fever. Where you are, wing attack.
Well, every time she goes near the ball, the crowd goes wild. And the Swifts really thrive on that. They thrive on the adrenaline from the crowd.
Advantage offside, wing.
Look at Leighton. She's on the toes, in front, behind. Plays for the penalty there. The umpire said, no, I'm not falling for that.
You know, you asked me earlier if anyone was winning their position, and the last person I would have said at the end of the first quarter was Shani Leighton, simply because she had 19 goals scored against her by Caitlin Bassett, or 18 goals, sorry, but she's really worked her way into the game, and if you watch Bassett, she's forced Bassett to change the way she's playing.
So Fever by 4. It's going to be a nervous final 13 minutes here, and probably the most nervous person in the house is the captain, Kim Green, who's on the bench with concussion, and Megan is with her.
Kim, tell us how you're feeling.
I'm feeling all right. I wanted to actually get it back out there, but Dr. Grace didn't let me go back out. So just a little bit dizzy, a little bit nauseous, and yeah.
Yeah, what made the decision for you to come off at half-time? You must have been feeling pretty crook.
Yeah, just a combination of those, and yeah, Grace just wouldn't let me back out. I was playing with her to get back out there, but yeah, no, she said no. So
yeah, we saw that nasty knock with Ash Brazel. It looked pretty painful at the time. You had that ice pack on it. Was it hard playing on from that moment?
No, to be honest, the adrenaline just got me through. But as soon as I started to stop, I started to get a little bit dizzy, and yeah, it wasn't nice.
Yes.
Can the girls get home from here?
Oh, without a doubt. They're playing so brilliantly at the moment, and you can hear the girls cheering on the sideline. They're doing a great job, and just the inclusion of Steph into the game has been really great.
Take it easy, Kim.
Yeah, I will do. Thank you.
It's going to be a long final 12 minutes for Kim Green. Wood has been good. She's right about that. Ooh. Desperate stuff from Pettit.
It's worth pointing out that Brown and Brazel have changed positions again.
Why would they have done that?
I reckon Brazel's just struggled since that head clash. She just doesn't look... Probably didn't come off as badly as Kim Green did, but she just hasn't looked comfortable.
Waits. Jerry's a long bomb.
It's a great goal. Just feel it's been a war of attrition, and the Swifts are just starting to get on top. These really crucial moments for Fever. Can they respond? How do they respond?
Here's Wood on the edge of the circle to Thwaites. Confidence is up. And the Swifts fans are finding their voice, and they're looking to bring the team home here. Final 11 minutes. We've got a timeout.
Collier's called time.
And listen to the crowd here. Almost a sellout tonight, almost a full house. Monday night netball, it doesn't get much better than this. 3,800 under the closed roof at Olympic Park. And this group has got belief.
Really good fight from the Swifts, especially without their captain on court. You know, we talked about the fact that these sort of things test character, but they also make everybody else stand up around them. The team relies, I think, sometimes too much on Kim Green to be the one that sparks them into action. They've all got to dig a little bit deeper tonight. They've all done that. At the other end of the court, really important for the Fever. They've had 3 impressive games. We saw against the Firebirds that they were able to respond when the Firebirds threw everything at them. This is another level for them all together. They've had really so much thrown at them, physically, everything. The Swifts have gone hard in defence. They've managed to upset the rhythm of the Fever, and that's what the Fever need to find in the last 11 minutes.
You wrote in Fairfax Press during the week that you don't like the draw, the concept of the draw. I like the article. I completely disagree with the argument. I love the draw. I think it's a great sense of theatre, and possibly for the 3rd time in a week, maybe we might see another one here tonight.
Well, I might also see a mutiny from these Swifts fans if they're saying that's another draw.
I would argue they're getting their money's worth. I mean, they're absolute classics. They're thrillers. And now you're looking at me weirdly and I'm scared.
Yeah.
10 minutes to go.
Be more concerned if you agreed with me, Kel.
Fever have led for just about most of tonight.
Really interesting watching young Steph Wood out there, a wing attack for the Swifts. A lot of well-respected, yeah, a lot of well-respected people who've had something to do with her really speak very highly of her. They say she's got a great netball brain.
Thwaites.
It's about to say, Caitlin Thwaites looks like she'll shoot them from there for the rest of the night. She's quite happy. That's pretty much where she missed it from.
It is, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, in fact, it was from about this spot. Had the chance to win it for her team last week. With seconds on the clock, she missed from there, and it was the draw. That's just going to be in the back of her mind, Liz.
I don't know, I reckon she's stuck it in the front of her mind because she's demanded the ball there in the last few occasions it's gone down court. She's quite happy to shoot from that spot.
Goal defender obstruction. Just here. With the goal attack.
And the goal-scoring machine continues on her merry way. Bassett, 44. Her PB is 61. Wood looks like she belongs out there in just her 2nd game in the ANZ Champs. Happy to put a bit of body here on Brown. And Jance came out, left Thwaites all by herself. She continues to make the home crowd happy. Back within one.
So Watts back on at wing attack for the Fever. May have been a really good move just to give her a few minutes rest. She was tiring of the contest earlier in the match.
Look at the hustle by the Swifts. Their hands are up over the ball. Bassett got no other option than to roll one in, and she's so hot tonight, she cannot miss.
Well, hustle's the right word. I reckon the Fever front line are just looking that little bit rattled.
Wood, steady. Pettit not panicking. And then protecting the back space is Thwaites. And she reaches up, long arms over Letton. She is putting in a big performance. 8 minutes to go. This game is anybody's. One of these teams will suffer their first loss for the season.
Defender contact with me. That's it. Obstruction. Both out of play.
Well, the crowd not liking the fact that Caitlin Bassett walked straight into Shani Leighton, taking up her space.
Frontage break, the attack.
Entitled to do it.
Clark, McCulloch, Pettit, Thwaites. Thwaites is really getting the better of Jance Dawson. Back to Clark, here's Thwaites. Thwaites has been inspired by Bassett.
Well, this is a different Caitlin Thwaites that we've seen this week. You know, she was, I guess, it sounded a bit harsh, but she was insipid last week. She really allowed Laura Geitz to get on top of her. Tonight, she's out there in front. She's muscled up, and what she's done really well. Oh, that's a huge moment. Ball not falling the Swifts' way. It's a replay call.
Contact with defender at the top.
Which means that the umpire, Dean, that Corletto had the ball and dropped it before she got possession back.
Contact.
Gee, that was good, though, from Leighton.
So the Fever are going to need tough skin, these players out here today. Saw a final in the tennis at Indian Wells between Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic earlier today, and the 20,000 fans all for Federer, and Djokovic won it. That's what the Fever's going to have to do here. Hold off this very vocal crowd. They are making their feelings felt.
Oh, that's a massive call. Watts gives away the penalty.
Whole time. Obstruction, goal shooter.
So Bassett gives away the obstruction call. This is pivotal.
Thwaites presenting hard. Some strong drives. Yeah, and against Jance Dawson. 5 minutes on the clock to level it up. Caitlin Thwaites is on. She wants to make amends. Hit the front for the first time since the first quarter with 5 minutes left. Thwaites is playing out of her skin. Last week it was Green that dragged them to that thrilling finish. This week it's Caitlin Thwaites. And now the pressure's on the Fever. Ooh. Clark unlucky. Top of the circle, Shea Brown. Leighton stands up when it matters most.
And the footwork call goes against her. She can't believe it. I don't understand it. She'll be desperate to win back possession. So I just get the feeling that the Swifts defensive line, we talked about them earlier in the match, they are now up and about.
Brazel.
Great pick up there from Brazel.
Brazel is big time. Oh, and she's been absolutely KO'd.
Hold tight.
Watts mid-air, quick to jump up. This is getting very willing. 4 minutes left, and we're all tied up at 54 apiece.
Just watch Shani Layton. She's a woman possessed. She probably needs a call from one of her teammates just to suck in some breaths.
Contact, go shooter.
Well, she's waited for it all game.
These two have been at it so hard. When the whistle goes, you don't know which way the call's going to go.
And this is what netball in
Barney's
2015
contact.
looks like. It's physical, it's relentless, and it's thrilling to watch. Fans well and truly getting their money's worth last week. And now here.
Just get the feeling that this fevered defensive line is on the back foot at the moment.
It's Caitlin Thwaites' moment. Caitlin Thwaites, she went cold against Geitz last week.
Barney's contact, goal defender.
She's put the Swifts in front.
Offside, goal attack.
A long ball into Bassett. She won't want to turn and shoot from there. And now Medhurst. Medhurst has had just the 7 attempts. She hasn't missed.
Really feel like now Medhurst is the go-to girl for the Fever.
Wood looping it to Clark.
Yeah, Jason's tired.
Do you make the change? Do they bring the New Zealand import on?
2.5 minutes to go. I don't know that you do. But I do wonder if Fever are going to look at this and say, yeah, we should have brought Macquarie on earlier, maybe at 3/4 time, just to give Thwaite something else to think about. She looks comfortable against Jance.
So Pettit with just her second attempt for that quarter, and she knocks that down.
Goalkeeper. With the shooter.
Pressure's on Bassett.
Swifts.
Such a cool head, Caitlin Bassett. She's been here, she's done it before. She's won world champs for her country in the last shot of the game. And these are the moments that she relishes.
Great take then from Wood. Watts was closing. Beautiful take then from Thwaites.
She's 11 from 11 in this last quarter, and there's the first miss.
You just jinxed her. Pettit, though, up for the rebound. Do you know what? The clock's going to decide the outcome of this game. These teams just will not give the ball up.
Like Nazago. Bassett won't miss from there. It dribbles in. So goal for goal. It's an arm wrestle. Which team will blink first? This is pressure netball. Pulsating stuff. Thwaites working hard on Letton. Spinning. She wants that trademark move. Asks for it over the top. Turns, spins, scores. And they've hit the front with a minute left on the clock.
Who's going to blink first? That's the question.
Still plenty of time here.
The double team on Bassett.
One step forward, keeper.
Huge shot.
She doesn't let her team down, and it's met by just about silence in here. Now the fans trying to rally. Swifts. Surely not a second draw within a week. It would be unheard of. Thwaites has been double teamed. Who makes the move? On the baseline, popping out on her 31st birthday, Susan Pettit. Clutch shooting at its very best.
Okay, Fever must go long. They've got to go to Bassett. She's got to muscle up.
Have they got one more in them? Leighton, Bassett to draw it. Surely not. Surely not. It's a draw.
Oh, that's
it's
extraordinary.
For the second time within a week,